Hey everyone, it's Judy, and today I wanted to come to you guys with a little bit of an advice video. A couple of my friends in Smule I'm learning are moving states or schools this year, and they're finding it hard to tell their friends, and they're nervous about the transition. So I thought I would come to you guys today with a little bit of advice because I moved states when I was 12 and moved schools, so it was definitely difficult for me, but I'm going to give you guys a couple of bits of advice that I found helpful, and just things that I did that I found helpful to help the transition a little bit more. So the first thing I would suggest to you guys is, don't dwell on the fact that you're moving. Unfortunately, a lot of my friends are younger. They're about 14 to 16 years old. So they're finding it hard to not be upset about the move. And believe me, when I was 12 and I moved, I was devastated. Where I lived, it was my home. I lived in New York. It was my home. It was my family. It was everything that I knew to be what it was. And I couldn't fathom the fact of being anywhere else. So it was really hard for me. But the fact of the matter is that I couldn't dwell on that because there's nothing you can do to change it. And especially when you're a preteen or a teenager, it's really hard to change something like that because your parents are the boss still, and they're the one buying and selling your house. They're the one making that move and making that change in their life, and you don't have enough influence or enough to be on your own, really, to make that change. So the first thing I would recommend doing is just get in the mindset that this is happening and I can't do anything about it. The next thing I would recommend is just tell your friends. No, it's not going to be an easy thing to tell them, but for me, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up in New York, so, telling my friends, it wasn't very difficult because I didn't have that many to tell, and it wasn't like, going to ruin their lives or anything like that, but that's just the thing. Telling your friends, it's not going to ruin your lives, and if they're your real friends, they'll keep in touch with you, and they'll want to be around for you and make sure they're spending time with you before you go. For me, I had a best friend, and we're still friends to this day. We're actually celebrating our 10th anniversary of friendship. So, that's the kind of thing that you hold on to, and those are the people you hold on to. Even if they don't, even if there's a long period of time where you guys don't keep in touch, if you're not talking every day, if you're not writing letters, if you guys even write letters anymore, if you're not doing that, then that's fine too. You can still be friends, and you can still catch up when you do talk to each other, when you do see each other. But if they're not going to make that effort at all, or if they don't even seem like they're going to make that effort, they're not worth your time and your energy, and they're not worth being upset over leaving. None of this is your fault, and it's not your problem. Your parents want to move, or your guardians, or whoever you're living with and who's taking care of you. They think that it's a better idea for you guys as a family to move, and they think, financially, emotionally, things like that, it's just going to be better overall to move. If friends think it's inconvenient to keep in touch with you after how many ever years of friendship you've had together, just because you're moving to a different town or a different state, they're not your real friend. They start getting hyped for it. For me, it was, they have different breaks, they have different start and end times. I'm finishing earlier than my friends back east. Then there's things to be optimistic about, things to look on the bright side for. If there's kind of an image you've always wanted to portray yourself as, but you couldn't because people knew who you were already, then you can do that. That's the great thing about going to a new school or even a new state just in general, because you can kind of portray yourself as the person you've always wanted to be. So if you wanted to start going by a different nickname, you can introduce yourself as that, because then people will know you as no other than that name. I figured this out for myself, actually. When I came back to college last year, I decided there was this nickname I've always wanted to try, and I never really got around to it. So I was like, screw it, I'm going to introduce myself by this nickname. And people loved it. People thought that it was my name. No one knows you. That's the great thing about it. So find those bright sides, keep in touch with your old friends, make new friends. I've learned that when you go to a new school, people are really receptive to new people. They think it's this big change, In middle and high schools, especially where I was from, you grew up with the same class and the same group of people everywhere you went. And the only thing that changed was that your friends were in like a different classroom, and you had, new people in your classroom once you got to middle school or something like that. But because of the way my school system was like a branch system, so we had 12 elementary schools, 4 middle schools, and 2 high schools, the way that kind of broke up was that you were always with the same group of kids, and you'd get a couple of kids from different schools filtering in with your classes. Otherwise, it was the same group of kids. So when I moved to a new state, everyone thought this was this great new thing, and it's still, you're in a branch system more or less, even though it wasn't quite the same here, but they were excited for this new person to be here. It's like, you've never been here before, you've never lived here, oh my goodness. And I moved in the middle of the year. For those of you guys who are moving before school year starts, you're going to find that it's just like getting a new teacher at the beginning of the year and getting a new schedule of classes at your old school, just with new people in the class. Most other school years that you start. So for me, I moved in the middle of a school year right after holiday break. So all the kids in my classes had already been with their teachers for a full semester, and they knew each other, they knew their teachers, they had already had like a system, you're my group for these projects, you're my partner always, that kind of thing. I came in and totally put like a ripple in that balance, and people wanted to know me and they wanted to come to me. So while I was busy focusing on my schoolwork and things that I thought were important, because I was like, okay, this is a new school, they do things differently than I used to do them, I have to make sure I focus and get my stuff done, people were flocking to me because they're like, oh, you're from New York, you're this new person, you're this new idea and culture that we've never seen before, we want to know you. I thought it was terrifying. The first thing I thought when I got there, because I was like, I don't know you. I haven't known you since I was 6. Why should I be friends with you? But slowly and surely, I began to make more friends, and I began to open up to the ideas like, okay, I'm not with the same people I grew up with when I was 6. I'm not going to see the same people that I knew for years and years, but I can at least open up to these new people. And I did, and it was great. And personally, for me, I would love to go home to New York. I think it's still my home and my place where I fit the best. And where I live now, I've definitely discovered that there are ways and things that I don't necessarily fit into and that I will never fit into just because that's the way I grew up. But at the end of the day, I still don't regret any of the friends that I've made. I still don't regret the experiences that I've had. And I'm so proud that I've had this experience and I made the friends that I made, and my boyfriend too. I have a boyfriend born and raised where I live, and I couldn't have been happier. So these are the things that you have to think about, is that you're going to gain experiences and friends and know new places and new things you never have experienced before. So at the end of the day, after getting in that mindset, after finding out who your real friends are and just opening up to the idea that this could be awesome, then you'll be okay. That's really the most important thing, is that you will be okay. I know it was a little preachy toward the end there, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this and you got something educational and informational out of this. I want to help you guys as much as I possibly can with the experiences that I've had and give them to you. So if you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you have any more suggestions of videos you'd like me to do, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye!